What's up, everybody? This is Lisa Lozano with Global Fight Talk, and I have a very special guest today. He's like family to me. I have none other than Mark Vasquez. Mark, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. We've learned a new quarantine life over here right now since we just got out of training camp. So everything's been cool. Training's going on key right now.
Well, you recently just won a fight about 2 weeks ago, and this is definitely this was a rematch. The first one, you guys, I guess it was stopped. I don't know. I'm not too sure. It was due to a headbutt I'm not too sure. The fight
Um,
was stopped, correct?
yeah. He tried to say with a punch behind the head. Which,
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
we were close together, and I promise you it didn't. But it was called the way it was.
Right. But you definitely made sure this second go around that you did not leave it to the hand of the judges. Like you went in there and you stopped this guy. I mean, who did you take on? Lamar Bolden, this guy.
hmm
So how um how was training for that fight? I mean, you fought him the first time, so you kind of had an idea already how he was
hmm
going to fight. So
Yeah.
going into this training camp, what did you guys do differently, or did you do anything different at all?
Since we had the field form already the first time around, and I think there was like one sparring video that we showed on social media, and we got the same idea. But I mean, training camp was the same as it did last time. In fact, because we got ready for fight before, so we took a small break and started training again. So it was kind of long, but at the same time, I felt like it got me in peak condition. Kind of raised my endurance and stamina to the next level, and we came into this fight like super prepared. So it was good. It was a change of aspects.
Well, your father is your trainer, and he's someone that
Mhm.
I worked with in the past. He worked a couple of my fight camps as well. So I've
Yeah.
been knowing you guys for quite some time. I mean, we used to train together as well. So, like I said, I was
Yeah.
really excited for this interview because I haven't seen you in forever. And, you had a baby. You're now a family man, and
Yeah.
you are a pro boxer. The last time I seen you, you were still in high school as an amateur, and
Yeah.
here you are as a pro boxer. You have what, 7 fights now?
7 fights.
7 fights. You are right now 6-1. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Six and
technically
one.
eight if you count the no contest, but
Yeah.
yeah, 7 fights.
Yeah. All together.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, how is your relationship like with your dad training you? It's usually, that's something in boxing. You have the father and son duo. How does that work out with you guys?
At first, like when I was going through, everybody has that high school, I'm a man type of thing, I guess. I can be on my own. So at first in the amateurs, he was coach, and we used to kind of butt heads sometimes. But like here, I would say when we turned pro and everything, we definitely got that break between coach and dad, or like coach and a fighter and son. So I mean, everything's been good. He recently, we were joking around because we had to stay in the motel for this last fight, and we were like, dang, he's like, that's when camp life's so hard. He's like, when we're at the hotel, it feels like a vacation right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it always seems like a little slight vacation when you go to these fights. You have fought for Mikey Garcia Promotions a few times or a couple of times,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you have met him. How is he like as a person, meeting someone that, is, as far as he is in the boxing game, a world champion? Do you guys ever talk, or does he ever give you advice?
I haven't talked to him too many times, but I definitely do say the times that he does like come in the back before like a couple of the fights, he'll talk with everybody sometimes, and the pointers you can really tell by the way he talks to the game. You can tell he's very wise and he knows exactly because when he says certain situations, he breaks them down for you pretty strategically, and he's like, okay, just work on this, do this, and you can definitely tell because like when you take a step back and you like listen, and you like really think about it, you're like that's probably the most key advice I've ever seen. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, your dad trains you. Do you guys ever like butt heads now? I mean, you're
Yeah.
a young, growing man, and like I said, you're a family man now. Do you ever say, "Hey, Dad, let's work on this," or do you guys just, it's Dad, he's trainer, and he's going to tell you how it's going to be. Because I remember your dad used to work with me, and he was very, precise how to do certain things, and,
Yeah,
the strength and conditioning. So I remember all that. So is he
yeah.
still like that, or has he, bumped up his training because now it's his son, you're his son, and you guys are trying to go far in the boxing game.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's still a little bit like that. Definitely,
Yeah.
I can't take it away from him. But there is times where Hector, because Hector helps me out train also, and they've come with something else in the middle of it. And my dad, he's accepting. He's like, yeah, we'll go ahead and start doing this now. Or doing this, so it's cool for the both of us. We're both learning and growing.
Yeah, you definitely want to learn. You definitely want to grow in the sport and continue, to win. What is next after after this? I know that we've been in this pandemic, and Texas just recently opened up to start throwing boxing fights.
Yeah.
And you guys were probably the first ones to be back open, to be throwing the very first boxing fights here in the DFW area.
Hmm.
So what do you guys plan on doing next? Is there another Mikey Garcia promotions that you're going to drop here on Global Fight Talk, or you guys are looking at other places, or, other opponents?
I mean, as of right now, we just got out of this, so we just enjoy the Thanksgiving week and stuff like that. But as of right now, I haven't heard of anything. I just took the time, oh, happy late Thanksgiving. Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't say
same
it.
to you.
I put Facebook out there for everybody, but I was like, whoever doesn't see it, doesn't see it. But yeah, no, we just took this week to enjoy it for everything that we've had and what's more to come. But I mean, until I know, I'll drop it on social media.
Right, right. So, like I said, being in this pandemic, has this helped you out as a fighter to strengthen, your game, you and your dad?
Definitely. Because in this pandemic, there's really nothing that was going on as much. So we really got to focus on a lot more technical work because, you don't have to be getting ready for a fight and endurance and a lot of strength conditioning and stuff like that. So we worked on a lot of good things coming back because we said as soon as everything opens back up, you never know the chances or the opportunities that you get. So, during the COVID, I know at first, when gyms closed, we couldn't really do anything. But as time went on, we just took a lot of sacrifice time to, critique and get more technical.
So how do you keep lean during this shutdown? At any point, did you like, okay, I'm putting on weight, I need to start working out, start training? Or is that just something that, you're very, committed to your career, your boxing career, and I'm going to stay in shape at all times?
Yeah, really and truly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Did I eat good over this pandemic? Yes, I did.
I think everybody did. I know I did. I'm still am.
I know. Don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely eat more bad meals than I should have during this situation. But a lot of the times, like, yeah, I am pretty serious about training. I love being in the gym. So, anything that I get, like, I really don't like letting myself, fall out of line because I know, like, once I do it, I'll be like, all right, let me do it one more time. And then it's like, it'll just go in a circle. I'm like, nah. So I just got to stay in shape at all times and, kind of like it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard because you've been in the boxing game for so long, from amateurs, and now you said your eighth pro fight, you're
Mhm.
always having to stay in shape. And at a certain point, fighters do get tired of doing,
Mhm.
training and eating healthy. Every now and then you want to indulge in some greasy
Yeah.
food, and, you just take a break. How do you
Mhm.
stay, motivated, being in the boxing game for so long?
Um, Really and truly, it's the end result that I've been training for this whole entire time. Just one of those big green belts around my waist. So, when I see the picture at the end of the tunnel, it's like I've already been working so hard, as an amateur, going through all this to like why slack off or why stop doing what I've been doing now? Why not increase it? Because I'm closer to that belt than I've ever been in my previously, so it just kind of gets me motivated and kind of driven even more.
Right. So, what is the difference, or what have you learned from your pro debut? You made your pro debut back in 2015, and here we are in 2020. I'm sure there's a huge difference, or if there is a huge difference, what have you learned? And as a fighter, what have you done to do things differently from the beginning of your career until right now?
I definitely do say, even when I see my first pro debut and everything like that, I definitely carried my amateur style. You know what I mean? Like the full transition wasn't there. The small things that you do on the inside when you clinch and stuff like that. Now when I see myself, I've adapted to the pro scene a lot better. Spar with some savvy guys, learn some other things. It was pretty cool. But I definitely do say it's a total 180 from my pro debut.
Yeah, I think everybody, from their pro debut, especially coming, out of the amateur scene, that is
Hmm.
based on more points. Because
Yeah,
in the amateurs, you're trying to get points, and you have this headgear, you're wearing bigger gloves. So, there, all you're doing is trying to score points. And
yeah,
to
exactly.
transition from that to boxing, to the professional level, the gloves are smaller, the headgear is gone, and the punches are harder are much
Yeah,
harder, so you have to move your head in being in the professional
yeah.
scene. You do have to move your head. Do you find that difficult, like, okay, my headgear is gone now and these are smaller gloves, and and your first hit, you're like, oh shit, this is for real, I'm in a fight now, this isn't amateurs anymore.
Yeah, well, the craziest thing was it was my pro debut. Whenever like it kind of snapped in. I mean, everybody walks up to the ring and stuff like that, and like even though it was probably like the first, 2 minutes of the first round, um, the guy who was shorter than me, and when we clinched, I just felt like his head, and I guess he had like a shaved head, and he like scraped me all over the side. And I was
Oh
like,
god.
it kind of hit me at that moment. I was like, oh, this is the pros. And I felt, you get a good headbutt here, and I was like, oh, like this is fun. Like, but at the same time without headgear, smaller gloves, stuff like that. I like games, I like chess, and like everything, So I find it more strategic because now everything has more of a purpose, and it's more competition wise. Every time fighters step up and things like that, so it's just fun. I like a challenge.
Right. I remember you when we used to train together. Had some great footwork. Your dad taught you to move and really stick that jab out there. Anything has changed from that, or is it still the same?
No, I mean we work a lot of new things in our arsenal, but we're trying to focus on getting a little more aggressive. To stand our ground and push around a little bit, because I know I can box, and I can box in any aspect, but now it's time to take more of a different approach because you never know who you're going to face in the future.
Mark, are you having fun right now? At the beginning of your career, are you having fun? Are you enjoying, the moments? Because there are times, people, just they wind up losing the love for it, and
Hmm.
they just kind of go away, and people forget to have fun, doing something that you love. Like, this is something you probably always wanted to do, and your love and passion for the fight game. Do you ever find yourself, okay, you know what, I need a break, even though I only have like less than 10 fights, I need a break?
Um, no, like you said, I mean the game is a love-hate relationship.
Oh
That
yeah.
I would say the motivation's still there. Like I'm still going for everything that I want, but there is love and hate days. After a hard week of like training, or you have a hard day of sparring, or you didn't do the things that you wanted to do.
Right.
Different things like that. Everybody always has their small doubts, but at the same time, you just got to remember what you're working for, and everybody has bad days. You just got to keep it moving.
Do you still get nervous? Do you ever think about, man, why am I doing this? I believe everybody gets nervous. It's just how you
Yeah.
handle the nerves. There was times where I thought, like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And the nerves kind of just go away once, some people, like, when the punch, the very first punch, the nerves are
Mhm.
gone, or some people just don't get nervous. Do you get nervous?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, everybody's brain when it comes down to the last minute, kind of goes over all the possibilities and like what you need to do, and you try to remember so much. But I mean, I do get nervous, but as soon as every time I hit enter the venue, uh, attitude always changed. You know, like I've trained all this time and I've done all these, you know, hours of sparring and I've done all this full work drill and all this stuff for this one exact moment. And I know I train, you know, I don't slack off. I don't like doing that. And, you know, my coaches, Brendan, Hector, and my pops, they stay on top of me all the time. So I'm like, if I already trained all this is going to be the fun part, you know. You know, we did
Right.
all this hard work, just have some fun in the ring.
There's a lot of great boxers right now that comes out of the DFW area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Errol Spence, you know, you have Adrian Taylor, you got Listo, you got yourself. Yeah, you have, there's so many people out there. Matter of fact, that, you know, the talk of you know, the fight that's coming up December 5th is Spence versus Garcia.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be
That's gonna be a good fight.
yeah, a really good. Who are you going for?
Really and truly, like, I mean, I gotta go with Earl Spence because he's from Dallas, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I would say possibilities of winning is 50-50 because they both are like strong guys that want to go straight forward. You know, they
Right.
want to push the other guy back. And I really think Earl Spence has the edge because that dude's always in great shape and definitely like I just think he might be a little too strong, but at the same time, then he has a big punch. And you never know.
That overhand right. Yeah, definitely that overhand right. You know, he does have that punch. And you're right. I mean, with boxing, anybody can go. It doesn't matter how great you are. If you're undefeated, anything can happen in a boxing fight. And do you think that, you know, Spence going through that tragedy he had with that wreck, do you think that's going to hinder him? Because this is his first fight back after that.
I mean, never really know. I mean, as of how he feels, I mean, he looks like he's in great shape.
Right.
And I saw the media thing. I mean, he looks fine, but at the same time, you never know. You know, if somebody's really wrong. But if he took some time to think about it with his family and his team, because that was a big incident that did happen, and definitely anybody would have to think over anything at that point. But I mean, if he thought about it and he was ready, he must feel ready. You know, he must.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, Derek James is not considered one of the best coaches, and you know, not to put his fighter at risk. But the fight of the year right now that everybody's talking about, it's going to happen tomorrow, and that's Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Here are these two legends coming together at a later age in life, in their 50s, and people are still talking about it. Matter of fact, it just broke pay-per-view record, getting this fight. Yes, it did. And everybody wants to see the fight, but I'm not too sure if everybody knows the rules that are out there for the Mike Tyson versus Jones fight. There's no knockout. You can't knock them out. There's no judges. There's no winner. Any sign of a cut, it's done. And the rounds are 2 minutes versus 3 minutes. So I'm not too sure how to think of that. A lot of people do not like the fact that there are rules because it's Mike Tyson. Everybody wants to see Mike Tyson knock out, Roy Jones. I mean, everybody does. But what I do say is forget the rules, because I think Mike and Roy are going to go in there and fight regardless of those rules. What do you think about that fight?
I mean, honestly, it's gonna be a heck of a fight. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, the rules are there because it's more of a respect to the game. Like, yeah, they're already older. Like, I know that they did all their damage and they did all their glory. But it's cool seeing them back because younger fighters, they never got to see them in the ring or anything, so they get to see their aspect. But every fighter that like, oh yeah, we'll work, or like somebody gets tagged good, the other person's going to want to do the same thing in return.
Definitely.
And then that's what I'm saying. I was like, with Roy Jones or Mike Tyson, I feel like it's a matter of time before they start kind of going almost full blast.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But who do you have for this fight? There's no winner, but the fight fans are going to say who won. But who are you going for?
I really got to go with Mike. I'm not going to lie.
Why Mike?
Just because I know, Roy Jones is already older, and I just don't think that his reactions are going to be as timely as to get away from, Mike's just a naturally bigger guy also. and I just don't know if he's gonna be able to get away as quickly as he needs to.
Right.
And but we'll see though. Mike Tyson is, he looks in great shape. I mean, they both do. They look pretty ready right now.
Yeah, definitely. Here's my opinion, because I've had this conversation with plenty of people. Mike Tyson has not been in the rings in almost 16 years, 12 to 16 years. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure. Roy Jones, his last fight was 2018. That was just 2 years ago. Pretty much, Roy has been in the ring every year. So he's been active, regardless if people say, oh, Roy doesn't have a chin, he has a glass jaw, or whatever. He's
Yeah.
been active. Mike hasn't. Mike, when he stepped away from boxing, he literally stepped away
Stepped
and
all
did
the way away,
not
yeah.
come back. And he didn't want anything to do with fighting. Now, when and why he decided to get back into boxing at, in his 50s, I don't know why, but he hasn't been training for that long for this fight. Like, he could have been for a year for all I know. I'm not too sure, but we all saw the transformation from when Mike was huge to what he is now. So that just means that he's just been training not too long ago. Roy, he stayed big, he's heavy, of course. When you're
Yeah.
older, it's harder to lose weight, and that's why they're fighting heavyweight. But
Yeah.
he's been there. He's active. He's still very active with fighters, promoting fights. He never walked away. To me, everybody still has that thought of Mike Tyson, of what he was when he was younger. And I think that's what everybody wants to see. Mike, they still have that vision of Mike being a young Mike and vicious.
Yeah,
Is
'cause
he that
everybody
young?
can
Is
look
he
good
that?
just
Is
seeing
he still that young Mike, vicious in his 50s? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
So
definitely, see, that's why I'm like, I'm really, you never know, because the whole exhibition match. Of course, you got rules and things like that, but you haven't seen this one. But I don't know. It's just, I think Mike might weigh it down. I
yeah,
think so.
well, I'm a huge fan of Mike and Roy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Bigger fan of Mike. But for this fight tomorrow, my money is on Roy, to be honest. And I really think
I'm gonna have to check in with you tomorrow about it.
Yeah, check in with me
I'm gonna
tomorrow.
have to check in with you.
But I really think that we're gonna catch a glimpse of Mike for the first 2-3 rounds. I believe that Roy's gonna pop shot him and move like he usually does. Well, I don't know, maybe because he has all that weight. I don't know if he still moves, but I'm watching his training, and he still moves.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
not as quickly as he used to, but he's still moving.
but he's still fast. He's still
Yeah,
fast.
definitely. So I think if Roy would, I'm sure Roy, of course, Roy plays chess. He's in there, making chess moves. I think he's just going to go in there, pop shot him, move him around, move around until Mike gets tired, because Mike hasn't been in the ring in a long time. And then he's going to stand in front of Mike and go to work from the inside. I really don't think that Roy's going to stay in the pocket with him for too long, and he's just going to try to outbox him. But who knows? We'll see.
Who knows?
I'm tossing a coin.
That's what I'm saying. It could do that, because like you said, Mike hasn't been there. Probably like halfway through, he gasses out.
Yeah.
You never. It's gonna be a good fight though. It's gonna be fun.
So are you watching it? Are you going somewhere to watch it, or are you just watching it at home?
Really true. I'm just gonna have a couple family members over, watch it. I'm still quarantining myself.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was gonna go somewhere, but just gotta watch out for some of my family members. But yeah, everybody wanted to watch it here, so I was like, okay, we'll have a little house party.
So you have a baby now, what, 2 years old right now?
2 years old.
2 years old. Is that motivation for you?
Yeah, no doubt. I just, before, when I used to train, it used to be like, because you just want to be the best and do everything. But like, now I want to be the best, but I want to give her the most at the same time. So it definitely adds a lot of initiative, and like on the days I don't want to go run and she's there, I'm like, all right, let me go put some miles in, or those down times, it kind of helps me out.
Being a father, does that make you understand your dad more?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he was really hard on me as a kid, and like growing up, like he was on my case, and like I couldn't have grades from anything under a 92. be disciplined, you know.
Right.
Like, you know, we used to do all this, and through boxing, he's been on top of me this whole entire time. So like, I was like, don't be so hard, but at the same time, now I understand why he just wants the best for someone, you know, for his kid.
Well, Mark, before we wrap this interview up, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out to speak with me. It's been a very long time, so I was very excited for this fight. I am so happy for, you know, how your career is going right now. Now you're a daddy. Now you got to think differently. Any shout outs you want to give?
Give a shout out to Sweat Boxing and Real Talk Boxing, the one of the best. You know, what can I say? But big shout out to everybody out there who you know, keeps up with Lisa and does everything, you know, following out there, or just the whole fight game period. You know, we owe it all to y'all.
Definitely. Thank you so much. You know, Mark, any social media sites that people could, you know, follow what Mark is, when is his next fight?
Yeah.
Put it
You
out
can find me
there.
on Instagram at _Team Vasquez, on Facebook at Mark Vasquez, MarkVasquez, and then you can see me on Twitter at Team Vasquez01.
Well, everybody that's watching that Push That Play, thank you so much. Make sure that you follow all of our social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Global Fight Talk. Thank you, Mark, so much.
No
And we're
problem. You have a
out.
good one.